Hello, students. In this recorded video lecture, we will discuss sample problems in CO2, okay, under Newton's laws and conservation of energy. Some of you might have already been done with some of the problems here, so you may skip to the problems we haven't discussed yet in class. However, for others, let's start with Newton's laws, okay? So first example, man is stranded on a raft where the mass of man and raft are both combined 800 kilograms. By paddling, he causes an average force A of 17 newtons to be applied to the raft in a direction 75 degrees due east of south. The wind also exerts a force B on the raft. This force has a magnitude of 15 newtons, points 67 degrees north of east. Ignoring any resistance from the water, find the x and y components of the raft's acceleration. So how do we solve for this? Okay, so I would always recommend that we start with our free body diagram. Okay, if you watch our conceptual um, discussion, free body diagram illustrates all the forces acting on an object. For example, here in this shaft, we have two forces acting on it. Okay, the force exerted by the man and the force exerted by the wind. Okay, which is vector B. And in our free body diagram, it should point on these two directions. Okay, 67 degrees north of east. Okay, and 75 degrees east of south. Okay, so hopefully we know this. Okay, and then you may write down your given, required, and the equations that we will need. Okay, so to solve for this, okay, of course, we need to have the equation for the acceleration. Okay, but remember, for to get the value of acceleration, we need to get the force because acceleration is equal to force over mass. Okay, if mass is given, we need to calculate for the force. Okay, and the two forces we need to calculate here are vectors A and vector B. So let's start. Okay, for the x components of both vector A and vector B, okay, we just have to add. Okay, get the vector sum of A sub x plus B sub x. And how do we get the x component? Remember, x component is always the horizontal uh, side of the right triangle that we're trying to imagine here. Okay, so here the horizontal component, okay, of the right triangle in vector A, okay, is the opposite side, okay, of our theta, okay, the angle 75 degrees. Okay, and for vector B, okay, the horizontal side, okay, is adjacent to angle 67 degrees. Okay, remember, we are always talking about horizontal component, yung pahiga, okay, for x component. So to write that down, so to get the horizontal component, okay, we multiply 17 newtons, that's the hypotenuse, times sine of 75 degrees. Because remember, for vector A, horizontal component is the opposite side. However, for vector B, notice that our horizontal component here is the adjacent side of theta. So here we're going to use 15 newtons times cosine 67. Okay, and then evaluating, okay, the sum of the x components should be 22.2817 newtons. Okay, and then remember, we are asked to solve for the acceleration. So to solve for acceleration, acceleration is equal to force over mass, and you should get an answer of 0.03 meters per second squared. Okay, so I hope that's clear. For the y component, okay, I would encourage you to try on your own so that you know how to do it. okay, for y component. Okay, try to pause this video. Okay, so to show you the answer for y component, again, the summation of f sub y is equal to a sub y plus b sub y. Okay, so before we continue, okay, be careful, be mindful of our directions. Remember, for y component, the vertical component, okay, upward is positive or should be positive, and downward should be negative. So here, you'll notice that means our first term, okay, the y component of a sub y, should be negative because it's pointing downward. Okay, times cosine 75 degrees plus 15 newtons times sine 67 degrees. You'll notice, to give you a clue or tip, okay, to make your problem solving skills more efficient, okay, if you already have the trigonometric function for the x component as sine and cosine, okay, you just need to invert them. Okay, not the uh, inverse trigonometric function. Okay, if for example, if it's sine, you make it cosine, and vice versa. So for example, here, sine 75 became cosine 75, and then cosine 67 became sine 67. Okay, but still, always be careful with the directions. Okay, for x and y plot. Then let's try to solve on your own. Okay, so f sub y should be equal to 9.4076 newtons. And again, to solve for A, we'll use the second law of motion. Acceleration is equal to force over mass. And you should get an answer of 0.01 meters per second. Okay? So hopefully it's clear. If you have any questions with any of the problems, sample problems here, you can message me on Teams. Okay, next. Example number 2. Three astronauts propelled by jet backpacks push and guide a 105-kilogram asteroid toward a processing dock, exerting the forces shown in the figure. So here's our figure. So we have F sub 1 is equal to 31 newtons. F sub 2 here is 59 newtons. And F sub 3 is equal to 42 newtons. Okay? Where theta sub 1 is the angle between F sub 1 and positive x-axis, that's equal to 30 degrees, and theta sub 3 is equal to 60 degrees. What is the A magnitude and B angle of the asteroid's acceleration? How do we solve for this? Again, remember that force is a vector quantity. Okay? So to get acceleration, okay, we will need to get the force, magnitude of the force, and the mass. However, again, for the force, okay, we need to get the net force, okay, that's being experienced by this asteroid, okay, or the vector sum of all the forces, okay, that is being exerted towards this asteroid. Okay, so for this, so let's start first again to get the vector sum of all the forces. Okay, we have to add each component. So let's start first with the x component. Okay. However, on your own, you can start whatever component you want. You can start with y. Okay, but here in the solution, we'll start with x component. Okay, summation of x components. So f sub 1 sub x plus f sub 2 sub x plus f sub 3 sub x, okay, should be equal to total f sub x. Okay, and then we have to determine how to get the x components of each vector or each force in this asteroid. Again, remember that x component is the horizontal component. Okay, so make sure you get the horizontal components for each vector. And for f sub 1, example, let's have here 31 newtons cosine 30. Okay, because the x component for f sub 1 is the adjacent side. okay, of our theta. The next 59 newtons cosine 0, okay, because the angle, although this is not explicitly stated in the problem, okay, the angle for f sub 2 should be 0 degrees. Okay, and if you have uh, cosine 0, then that's just equal to 1. And you also notice here that since f sub 2 is perfectly horizontal, okay, whatever is the value of the vector itself, 59 newtons, that's also its x component. Okay, that's already its x component. And lastly, the third vector, 42 newtons times cosine 60 degrees. Again, 60 degree, sorry, the theta here, theta sub 3, it has an adjacent side, which is the horizontal component or the x component. Okay? And then to solve, you should get an answer of 106.8468 newtons. Okay, next. For the y components, we're going to do the same thing. So I'd like you to try to pause this video and answer on your own. Okay, so let's have the answer. Let's substitute first 31 newtons sine 30 degrees plus 0 newtons because it will cancel out. Okay, sine 0, it should be 0. Minus 42 newtons sine 60 degrees. Remember, okay, to indicate the correct direction with the sign. Okay, for y component, the negative sign indicates the southward direction. So to evaluate, f sub y should be equal to negative 20.8731 newtons. Okay, and then to get the magnitude of the force, we'll just need to use the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so the resultant F should be equal to the square root of f sub x squared plus f sub y squared. And then just substitute the values, and you should get an answer of 108.8665 newtons. But remember, we are asked for acceleration. Okay, so to solve for acceleration, you just use the second law. A is equal to F over M. That means, okay, acceleration, you just plug in the given values, and it should be equal to 1.04 meters per second squared. Next, to solve for the angle of the asteroid's acceleration, remember that theta is equal to, we can use one of the trigonometric functions, arctangent of a sub y over a sub x. Okay. However, remember that a sub y is just equal to f sub y over m, and a sub x is just equal to f sub x over m. And then we can just cancel out the mass, and theta is just also equal to the arctangent of f sub y over f sub x. Okay, you'll notice here that this just basically means that the theta or direction of the acceleration is the same as the direction of the net force. Okay, and we can now substitute the given values. You can try to pause this video and answer on your own, but you should get an answer of theta is equal to negative 11.05 degrees. So hopefully that's clear. Next, lesson 2, Newton's laws of forces. We're now going to talk about laws of force. Example number 1, an automobile engine has a weight W vector whose magnitude is 3150 newtons. This engine is being positioned above an engine compartment. To position the engine, a worker is using a rope. Find the tension T sub 1 in the supporting cable and the tension T sub 2 in the positioning rope. So you'll notice here in this illustration, this can actually already serve as our free body diagram. Okay, so if you wanna solve while we answer also, simultaneously try to write first the given what is asked, required, and the equations that we will need to use. Okay, pause this video. Okay, but basically, to answer this, we need to write down the equation for static mechanics, which is just that the summation of forces, okay, in this free body diagram must be equal to 0. Okay, so meaning if we get the vector sum of t sub 1 plus t sub 2 plus the weight, it should be equal to 0. Okay, so we are assuming here that the engine is hovering in the air above the compartment here. Okay, so let's first solve for the x component. Okay, so summation in x should be equal to 0. And then, okay, we determine that t sub 1 sub x must be negative plus t sub 2 sub x should be equal to 0. You'll notice here that we didn't have an x component or term for the weight W. Okay? If you check the free body diagram, W actually doesn't have any horizontal component. Okay? Because its direction is perfectly downwards. Okay, so its horizontal component is 0. Okay, so next, let's write down. Again, hopefully we know how to determine the x components of each vector. Okay, it's just the horizontal side of the imaginary right triangle. Okay, so to solve, so t sub 1 times sine 10 degrees plus t sub 2 times sine 80 degrees must be equal to 0. Okay, so we will label this equation number 1. Okay, so your clue here is that you notice that we have two unknown variables here, t sub 1 and t sub 2, in this equation. So that actually means that we won't be able to solve for any of the unknown values yet. Okay, and this is your clue that you will need your skills in solving systems of equations. Okay, because we have another equation coming up that we'll be able to use, okay, to solve for one of the variables here. Anyway, so next we're now going to determine the equation for the y component. Okay, and actually we're just going to do the same thing. Okay, summation of y should be equal to 0, and then t sub 1 minus t sub 2 sub y minus weight should be equal to 0. Again, okay, make sure you have the correct signs, okay, for the directions. Okay, remember t sub 2 and weight both are pointed downwards. Okay, so that's why they are negative. T sub 1 is upwards. And then to determine the equation, t sub 1 times cosine 10 degrees minus t sub 2 cosine 80 degrees minus 3,150 newtons must be equal to 0. Okay, again, hopefully we know how to determine which trigonometric function we're going to use. Okay, in this case, we're going to use cosine. Notice for the weight, we didn't write down the trigonometric function, okay, because it will just have a value of 1. Okay, if we're going to be strict, okay, the weight here has an angle theta of 270 degrees because it's pointing downwards. Okay, and if you get the cosine of 270 degrees, it's negative 1. Okay, so that's why it's negative 3,150 newtons. Okay, so this is now our equation 2. Okay, so after this, you'll notice you already have two sets of equation. So it's really actually up to you what you wanna solve first. Either that's t sub 1 or t sub 2. Okay, it's up to you. In this case, in this solution, okay, we're actually going to solve for t sub 1. Okay, so you have to, whatever you want to solve first, you have to isolate. Okay, in any of the equation. In this case, we use equation 1, okay, to isolate t sub 1. Okay, but you can isolate also t sub 2. Excuse me. Sorry. Either in equation 2 or equation 1. Okay, so any equation would do. You can isolate t sub 1 in the first equation, or you can also isolate t sub 1 in the second equation. Okay, whatever equation you want to do, it's up to you. But in this case, to follow the solution here, okay, we can use this equation, okay, to substitute t sub 1 in the second equation. Okay, so let's try to substitute. Okay, so substitute equation 3 to equation 2, and you should get, okay, notice t sub 1 here has been replaced by t sub 2 sine 80 degrees over sine 10 degrees. Okay, times cosine 10 degrees, which is here, minus t sub 2 cosine 80 degrees of our second term, minus 3,150 newtons is equal to 0. Okay, so I would encourage you to try to solve this on your own first, okay, before I show you the solution. Okay, you'll notice here that we only have one unknown variable, which is t sub 2, that you can already factor out between the two terms. And then the third term, you can just transpose on the other side, so it becomes positive. Okay, so try to isolate t sub 2. Pause this video. Okay, so to isolate t sub 2, you should get t sub 2 is equal to 3,150 newtons over sine 80 degrees cosine 10 degrees all over sine 10 degrees minus cosine 80 degrees. Okay, and then you can now try to solve this one. T sub 2 must be equal to 582.10 newtons. Okay, next, to solve for T sub 1, we can actually use any of the equations here, either 1, 2, or 3. Okay, but here, okay, we substituted T sub 2 to equation 3. Okay, and you should get an answer of T sub 1 is equal to 3,301.25 newtons. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. Next, example number 2. Block 1 of mass 800 kilograms is moving on a frictionless 30-degree incline. This block is connected to block 2, M sub 2 here, okay, with 22 kilogram mass, okay, by a massless cord. Okay, so we are assuming that the cord is massless. That passes over a massless and frictionless pulley. Find the acceleration of each block and the tension in the cord. Okay, so we are asked to find acceleration, okay, and the tension. Remember, tension is just also the force, okay, directed towards the direction of the rope or the cord. So to answer, okay, so I'll give you a hint here, okay, to help you evaluate the value of the acceleration. What we're going to do here, okay, is to draw our free body diagram, okay, and then rotating our object, okay, the block M sub 1. Okay, this to help us focus, okay, more on the problem and not on making it hard for us, okay, to solve for each component of each vector. Because you'll notice here, what we did here is we made two of the forces already perpendicular to each other and already on each axis. Okay, what we mean here is that means that the full value of each of these vectors, f sub n and t, the tension, will be, okay, the value of the full core component of each of this vector. Okay, so we'll only have one vector, which is the weight, okay, weight sub 1, okay, as our um, vector or force that has an x and y component that we need to solve. Okay? Because if we didn't rotate, okay, actually, we'll only have the weight. Of course, the weight is always pointed downwards. Okay, so we'll only have the weight without um, component. Okay, it only has y component, doesn't have x component. We will need to solve for both F sub end and T tension. Okay, their components. So it will be inefficient, okay, to solve for the x and y components of two vectors instead of, in this case, just one. Okay. Anyway, let's try to solve for the f sub x. Okay. Remember that this setup has an acceleration, meaning it's moving. Okay. So that means it has a net force acting on it, and that net force is just equal to mass times acceleration. Okay, the mass that we're talking about here is m sub 1, okay, times the acceleration experienced also by m sub 1. Okay, and then remember that the summation of the x components of all the forces, okay, is equal to t, which is this force, okay, minus weight sub 1 times sine 30 degrees. Remember, we rotated this 30 degrees clockwise. Okay, so that's why we have an angle, okay, between the y-axis and w as 30 degrees. And that's equal to m sub 1 times a. Okay, and then we substitute all the given values. Okay, you'll notice here we have two unknown variables, okay, t, the tension, and acceleration a. Okay, and then what we can do here, okay, so we can isolate t. Okay, so T is equal to 8 kilograms times acceleration, which is the right side on this equation, plus this whole second term. Okay, we just transpose this whole second term to the right side, plus 8 kilograms is 9.8 meters per second squared times sine 30 degrees. So this is now our equation 1. Okay, again, we're going to use systems of equation to solve for this. Next, for m sub 2, okay, we don't need to rotate it, okay, because both vectors, okay, t and weight sub 2 are already in y-axis, so they don't really have um, x components. So here actually just going to use the summation of y components. Okay, remember that t minus weight sub 2 is equal to m sub 2 times acceleration a. Okay, and then substituting our given values, remember that weight is equal to mass times acceleration due to gravity here, and we'll also get that t is equal to 22 kilograms times acceleration plus 22 kilograms times 9.8 meters per second squared. So this is our equation 2. Okay, so how are we going to use these two equations? Remember, in the third law, okay, of motion, law of interaction or law of action reaction, okay, it just says that the every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So that's what's being uh solved here, okay, or being applied. Okay, remember that since here we have the tension of each object, okay, that means that the tension here, okay, in the first free body diagram is also equal to the tension on the second object m sub 2, okay, or second free body diagram. So let's continue. Okay, so as I've mentioned, so t, okay, in the first equation is equal to the t in the second equation. So that just means that this first equation is equal to the second equation here. Next, so evaluating, okay, we want to isolate A, notice that we only have one unknown value here, which is A, acceleration. Okay, to isolate A, all the terms with A are on the left side, and all the terms without A on the right side. Then we can factor out A here. Okay, and you should get an answer of A is equal to negative 12.6 meters per second squared. Okay, next. Remember that we are asked to solve also for the tension. And to solve for the tension, okay, we can just use equation number 2 and then substitute the value for A, and you should get an answer of negative 61.6 newtons. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. Now, example number 3. In the figure, a 5.20 kilogram block is sent sliding up a plane inclined at theta is equal to 37 degrees, while a horizontal force F of magnitude 50 newtons acts on it. The coefficient of kinetic friction between a block and plane is 0.32. What are the A magnitude and B direction up or down the plane of the block's acceleration? The block's initial speed is 4 meters per second. For letter C, how far up the plane does the block go? And D, when it reaches its highest point, does it remain at rest or slide back down the plane? Let's try to answer. Again, try to write down given, required, and the equations that we will need. For letters A and B, we'll need the second law of acceleration. But of course, to get the acceleration, we also need the force. Okay, so again, we're going to get the net force, okay, that's being experienced by this block. And then for C, it has an initial velocity. So we're going to use kinematics equation for C. And then D, okay, we will determine if it's going to remain at rest or slide back down the plane. Basically, we're going to determine if the friction, okay, with the plane is enough to stop, okay, the block, or it will slide back down. So next, again, we're going to use the technique that we had earlier. Okay, we can again rotate our free body diagram. In this case, we're going to rotate 37 degrees clockwise. Okay, so for M, here's our free body diagram. Okay, with weight that has an angle of 37 degrees. Okay, and then can now write down our forces in the x component. Okay, so F sub x is basically the x component of F. Okay, here. Again, this is also 37 degrees. So cosine 37 degrees here. Okay, minus, okay, the kinetic friction. Remember, this block is moving, so it has kinetic friction. Okay, minus, again, the horizontal component of the weight. Okay, and that is equal to mass times acceleration. Okay, so you'll notice here, actually, we have two forces that have trigonometric functions that have their x components that we need to solve. Okay, but it's up to you whether you want to rotate this, or you could just not rotate it, but make sure you get the um correct angles, okay, for each. Okay, especially for the friction, F sub k, okay, the force of friction. And then next, for F sub y, okay, it's our normal force, although, sorry, it wasn't indicated here, but there should be normal force here, pointing upward, so it's positive, minus F sine 37, that's the y component of F, which is pointed downward, so that's why it's negative, minus also the vertical component of W cosine 37 degrees. And they should be equal to 0, because remember, the block is not moving in the y-axis. It's only moving in the x-axis. Okay, so that's why its friction is also in the x-axis. Since we know that the formula or equation for friction, F sub k, kinetic friction, is equal to mu sub k times normal force F sub n, then we know that F sub n is equal to, from the second equation here, okay, F sine 37 plus W cosine 37, okay, from the summation of F sub y. Then we can just substitute that here. Then F sub k is equal to mu sub k times the value of F sub n, which is F sine 37 degrees plus W cosine 37 degrees. Next, using the first equation, okay, so here it's the first equation. Remember that F sub k is equal to mu sub k times F sub n. And then again, okay, we can substitute F sub n with this expression. Okay, and then you'll notice that we can distribute this mu sub k to both these terms. Okay, so mu sub k, and also we can substitute weight with mass times acceleration due to gravity g. Same thing with the third term. Okay, so actually we now have four terms, okay, on the left side of the equation, okay, and then one term on the right side. Next, okay, to calculate for m, okay, we can just divide both sides by, to calculate for a, calculate for a, we can just divide both sides by m, okay, the mass, okay, and then we can factor out f over m, okay, times cosine 37 minus mu sub k sine 37 minus p sub k times acceleration due to gravity g times cosine 37 degrees minus g times sine 37 degrees is equal to acceleration. Okay, then again we can solve for a, okay, by factoring out g, okay, in this second and third term. Next, we can now just substitute all the given values. Okay, you'll notice everything here is given on the left side. Okay, and then we can just solve for a on the right side. And if you try to evaluate on your own, you try to plug in on your cycle so that you know how to plug in this type of equation, okay, to your scientific calculator. And then you should get an answer of A is equal to, okay, negative 2.57 meters per second squared. Okay, next. Again, okay, for A, okay, we have solved that it's equal to negative 2.57 meters per second squared. And then for B, okay, since it's negative, okay, we know that the direction is to the left of this free body diagram. But remember, we rotated this clockwise 37 degrees. It just means it's going downhill. Okay, so A here is going downhill. Okay. So if it's moving to the right, okay, meaning it has a component here upwards. Okay, but the direction is on the opposite side, okay, downhill. That means, okay, sige, try to determine what's happening to the motion. Is it speeding up, constant, or slowing down? And so that just basically means that the velocity of this block, okay, is slowing down, okay, because the direction of A is opposite, okay, to the direction of the velocity. Okay, so it's now slowing down. We are asked for letter C, how far up the plane does the block go? Of course, it's slowing down, but it's still going upwards. Okay, but the question is how far up the plane, meaning we're going to assume, okay, that it will stop at some point. Okay, and the displacement d of that is what we're going to solve. Okay, so using kinematic equations, this kinematic equation v sub f squared is equal to v sub naught squared plus 2ad. That just means that 2ad is equal to v sub f squared minus v sub naught squared. And to calculate for d, okay, because remember we are asked to find the displacement, how far up, okay, we're going to use this equation. And then to substitute all the given values, okay, remember v sub f is 0 because it will stop, okay, at the maximum height, okay. Minus v sub naught, which is 4 meters per second squared. This was given in the problem earlier. All over 2 times negative 2.57 meters per second squared, okay, which is the acceleration that we solved earlier. Okay, and you should get an answer of d is equal to 3.11 meters. Okay, next. So the question for letter D, when it reaches its highest point, does it remain at rest or slide back down the plane? So how do we determine that? Okay, so we are expecting that the static coefficient of friction, mu sub s, is greater than or should be equal to at least the static coefficient. Okay, coefficient of friction. Sorry, coefficient of static friction. Okay, mu sub k. Okay. However, in the minimal case, we can just assume that mu sub s is equal to mu sub k. Okay. So that just means that the maximum force, right, that the block should experience should be equal to mu sub s times f sub n. Okay, that's equal to the maximum friction, static friction. Okay, based on our coefficient of static friction. Okay, that means that if it's greater than, okay, the static friction, then that means it will slide back down. But if it's just equal or less than, then it will just remain at rest. Okay, it will stop at a certain height. So since f sub n again is equal to f sine 37 plus w cosine 37, then f sub s max is equal to mu sub s times this whole expression. Okay, so we just substituted f sub n. And then we are assuming that mu sub s here is equal to mu sub k. Then to calculate for the maximum force, okay, at the maximum displacement, okay, at the top, should be equal to, okay, try to solve on your own. Pause this video. It should be equal to 22.41. Okay, so this is the maximum. Let's try to calculate what are we actually experiencing. Okay, so f sub s is equal to f cosine 37, which is this, okay, minus w sine 37. Okay, so remember the friction here is on this side, okay, to the left side. Okay, and that's equal to f sub cosine 37 here, okay, the horizontal component of f minus w sine 37. Okay, and try to solve. If you try to solve, you should get an answer of 9.26 newtons. Okay, and if you compare, it's actually less than 22.41, the maximum force here. That means, okay, if f sub s is less than f sub s sub max, the block remains at rest. Okay, it will stop at a certain height and will not go down. So hopefully that's clear. Next. Now I'm going to discuss work energy and energy conservation. Example number 1, a worker pushed an 18 kilogram block 12 meters along a level floor at constant speed with a force directed 28 degrees below the horizontal. If the coefficient of kinetic friction between the block and the floor was 0.340, what were A, the work done by the worker's force, and B, the increase in energy of the block floor system? So again, write down Gresa, post this video. So for letter A, the work done by the worker's force, remember that work is equal to FD cosine theta. Okay? So if D is given, okay, we have to solve for F. Okay? And remember that F is a vector quantity, so the vector sum of F is equal to the sum of all the X components, okay, and the sum of all the Y components. So again, let's try to solve first for X component. F sub X must be equal to 0. So let's substitute. Okay, F cosine 28 degrees here. Okay, that's the horizontal component of this F minus small letter f. That's your friction. So in the X component, obviously we only have two uh, forces acting on the object. Next, okay, to solve for F, remember that F is equal to mu times F sub n. And F sub n is just equal to F cosine 28 degrees over mu. Okay, next, letter B. For the Y component, okay, so again, we're just going to add all the components of Y, and you should get an answer of, again, 0. Okay, so F sub n minus W minus F sub sine, F times sine 28 degrees, okay, must be equal to 0. Okay, and then now we can substitute to equation 1 earlier. Okay, remember that F sub n is equal to F cosine 28 over mu, okay, minus the weight, which is just mass times acceleration due to gravity, minus F sine 28 degrees. And notice here, okay, you can actually already solve for F. Okay, substitute all the given values and you should get an answer of 57.60 newtons. Next, okay, the work done, remember, is FD cosine theta, and then we just substitute the given value. Try to answer on your own. Okay, so to solve for this, okay, you should get an answer of 610.29 newtons. And then lastly, okay, we are asked to solve for the change in the energy of the uh, block floor system. But remember that for the work energy theorem, work is just equal to change in kinetic energy. Okay, so we could just write down that it's equal also to 610.29 newtons. Okay, hopefully that's clear. Next. Example number 2. Okay, a space probe of mass m is equal to 5 times 10 raised to 4 kilograms is traveling at a speed of v is equal to 1.10 times 10 raised to 4 meters per second through deep space. No forces act on the probe except that generated by its own engine. The engine exerts a constant external force of 4 times 10 raised to 5 newtons directed parallel to the displacement s of magnitude 2.5 times 10 raised to 6 meters. Determine the final speed of the probe. How do we solve this? You'll notice here this almost looks like a kinematics problem. However, actually, we can solve this using the work energy theorem. Okay, so first write the given. Okay, and then the required is the final speed v sub f. Okay, and the equations that we will need are all the equations for work. So I'll try to answer. Work energy theorem, which just says that work is equal to delta KE. Okay, which just means that work is equal to FD, and delta KE is final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy. Remember that kinetic energy is 1/2 mv squared. Okay, so this is our equation. And then let's solve for v sub f. Okay, so in your case, you're going to do this on your exams. Okay, v sub f should be equal to square root of 2 times fd plus 1/2 mv sub naught squared all over m. Okay, next. Okay, and then we substitute all the given values. Okay, now try to pause this video and solve on your own. Okay, so to solve, okay, the value of v sub f should be 12,688.58 meters per second. Okay, hopefully that's clear. Next example. Okay, example number 3. A floating ice block is pushed to a displacement d is equal to 10 meters I hat minus 24 meters j hat along a straight embankment by rushing water which exerts a force F is equal to 255 newtons I hat minus 152 newtons j hat on the block. How much work does the force do on the block during the displacement? Okay, so you notice here that we are again asked for work. Okay, how much work does the force do? However, you'll notice the difference is that the given expressions here for f and d are all already in vector notation. So actually, this actually helps us. Okay, calculate. So let's try. So work is equal to 255 newtons I hat minus 155. Sorry, 152 newtons j hat. Okay, times the second binomial. 10 meters I hat minus 24 meters j hat. Okay, so try to solve. Okay, so let's try to solve. The answer should be 6198 joules. Hopefully that's clear. So that concludes our recorded video lecture for the sample problems, okay, in CO2. If you have any questions, please message me on MS Teams. Bye everyone.